In 1887, soon after the British made India part of their empire, they put Jharsuguda, a small rural town stuck in a corner of eastern India, on the map by making it into a railway junction and so linking it to the rest of the subcontinent. For the next 30 years, the town grew as a trading post, but then it slowly faded into oblivion. In the spring of 1942, the war exploded on India's eastern front. That's when Allied Air Force brought Jharsuguda back into prominence by making it into a refueling and cargo stop for bombers flying sorties to Burma and China. Today, all that survives are ghosts, and memories of all are yesterdays. With the end of the war, the spotlight on Jharsuguda was turned off and it lapsed back into its slumber. Small industries survived like beedi making, but the small farmers had to scratch a living from the land, which was often devastated by droughts. And then heavy rains, and then floods, causing mayhem for years to come. It was 50 years after independence, in 1997, that Vedanta, with the strong support of the government of Odisha, took the giant step of bringing a project of such enormous magnitude to this underdeveloped region, and thus rocketing it into the 21st century. Vedanta Aluminium Ltd is now the largest development of its kind in India. Its final cost will be to the tune of $10 billion, to create what will be the largest single-location aluminium plant in the world by 2012, with an output of 1.7 million tons per year. This will propel Jharsuguda into the major leagues in this market, earning millions in foreign exchange.
Today the Jamshedpur, which is known as the city of the steel, due to the vastness of this plant and the size of the plant, tomorrow, by 2012, the entire Jharsuguda will be known as the aluminium city of the country.
Vedanta did it by purchasing 3,000 acres from the local population, paying them fair market value for their land.
जिस जगह में वेदांता जमीन लिया, उस जगह में कोई खेती नहीं होता रहा, इरिगेशन पोटेंशियलिटी था नहीं, वो बंजर जमीन सब था उस समय में। इसीलिए हम लोगों ने चाहा कि वेदांता यहाँ बनाया जाए और झारसुगुड़ा को तरक्की के ऊपर में लिया जाए।
This was not an easy purchase, as NGOs and private institutions objected to a massive plant like this being erected in the eastern part of the country. Air and water pollution was a major concern among the local population. One of Vedanta's major investments here is to control pollution over and above international regulations. They have put in place the latest technology for clean water, air, and the disposal of solid waste.
With regard to aluminum and other industries or minerals, I can clearly see a very bright future, essentially because of the fact that the downstream industries can provide employment for a large number of people.
At Vedanta, we are also ensuring that these world-class vendors who are joining us in turn outsource part of the work to local contractors and structurally build their capacity.
It's this capacity building that passes on the skills to others and hence increases the employment of the local population by supporting schemes like the Jharsuguda training school, where some of the farmers who benefited from the sale of their land to Vedanta are now working towards a new life. Here at the government school, mainly financed by Vedanta Corporate Social Responsibility Department, the Dev brothers who sold their land to Vedanta are now training as lathe operators. Others have not taken to this field easily, but feel they will have new lives and dreams in years to come.
After Vedanta came here, a lot of development have taken place. The town has developed, business has developed. Vedanta also has developed the area as a whole, because besides setting up industries, they have also taken up some development works in the rural areas also.
Vedanta also takes its corporate responsibilities beyond what is normally expected of major companies. Over the past 3 years, they have spent an enormous amount of rupees 21 crores on welfare in this region. Look at the example of Ambika Oram. Married at the age of 18, she was earning 800 rupees a month as a beedi maker, scraping a living in a region where inflation was spiraling upwards. Ambika's search for job training led her to the Women's Cooperative Program, run for sustainable livelihood in partnership with Vedanta. She settled for the retail business, where she bought herself a village shop with an income of 5,000 rupees per month. Today she has expanded her convenience store to a takeout Chinese. Yes, a Chinese food stall. One can see that globalization is reaching even the most remote corners of the world. There are over 100 stories like this in the region. Another one of them is the case of the popular and pugnacious 32-year-old Sabita Mirig, who struggled as a laborer to make 600 rupees a month. Unable to support her 2 children and her cancer-ridden husband, the family went into debt and near starvation. She enlisted in the Vedanta scheme, in this case for raising poultry. With a loan of 5,000 rupees, she purchased her first chicks, but when bird flu struck the region, she was wiped out. Not to be defeated, Sabita took a second loan of 5,000, and today she plans to sell 100 chickens a week, earning 10,000 rupees a month. The railway that put Jharsuguda on the map now comes all the way into the Vedanta plant, bearing gifts, one might say, coal and aluminium. After expansion, the capacity of the smelter will be boosted to 1.75 million tons per annum of aluminium at an outlay of $3.6 billion. While the capacity of the largest captive power plant in India will be increased to 1,215 megawatts for an investment of $1 billion. This infusion of capital will create wealth far beyond the region's imagination. This affluence has started to spread into the town and surrounding areas due to the massive increase in salaries of the average person. Look at the growth with the expansion of banks.
Before Vedanta came to Jharsuguda, there were only 12 to 13 branches. Now there are more than 20 branches. We only came here just 2 years ago. Now our demand deposit is around 35 crores.
Hotels.
10 वर्ष पूर्व झारसुगुड़ा 2-3 छोट छोट होटल थिला एबे 8टा बड़ होटल खोलला पर भी आ 4-5टा होटल काम चलछि.
Petrol pumps.
10 years ago we sold 1,000 liters per day and now we sell 6,000 liters per day.
House prices soaring to major metro levels. Land prices have reached levels no one would have dreamt of a few years ago.
My dream for Jharsuguda is making a new Jharsuguda Nirman where there must be a park, where must be a engineering school, must be one hospital, and with all these new buildings and township and all construction is going by Vedanta project that we can accommodate in all new Jharsuguda Nirman and we can meet the 21st century.
This leap into the 21st century will bring a transformation in the lives of people who have felt the burden of poverty for as long as they can remember. There will now exist for them limitless opportunities to explore new frontiers for years to come. They will have the assurance of clean water, fresh air, and forests in abundance. But most of all, they will have the promise of a better future for their children and the generations to come.